Marie de Guise is often overshadowed by her daughter, Mary Queen of Scots, Mary Stuart. She is, what we can say, a forgotten queen, a forgotten historical figure of the 16th century. And yet her life is so incredible. But it's also all the lessons that we can learn from her. When we look at her life, she has a mother, a duchess, and a queen of Scotland. She has a very incredible fate, but she's also from one of the most powerful French noble family in 16th century. She's a Guise. She is very much influential, very much powerful, but she's also been used as a political pawn. Her life is not just full of joy, it's actually quite sad in many ways. And in this Once Upon a Woman video, this is what I would like to talk to you about. The life, the fate of Marie de Guise. Born on the 22nd November 1515, she died on the 11th of June 1560. She's also known or called Marie of Lorraine because the Guises were the ones who lived in Lorraine. They were the ones in charge of Lorraine, a very important territory. She was Queen of Scotland from 1538 until 1542 as the second wife of King James V. She's the eldest of the 12 children born to Claude, Duke of Guise and Antoinette of Bourbon. Claude, Duke of Guise and Antoinette de Bourbon were a very powerful couple, and they established themselves at court and beyond. They really worked on their diplomatic networks, on their political networks, and they had lots of wealth and influence. In 1534, Mary was married to Louis II d'Orléans, Duke of Longueville, the Grand Chambellan of France. The marriage was unfortunately short-lived, but it had been arranged by King Francis I himself, showing you how important the Guise family was for the royal family. The Duke of Longueville died in 1537, and both kings of England and Scotland, Henry VIII and James V, showed an interest in Mary. It's why it's so funny, because King Henry VIII tried to make Marie de Guise his fourth wife. So instead of Anne of Cleves, he wanted Marie de Guise, and Marie de Guise replied that her neck was too small for him. And I think that is quite a good sense of humor, but also it showed that there was no way she would accept the hand of someone who had treated his wife so appallingly. And obviously you can say, but it was also the religion. It was not necessarily just the religion, because Henry VIII remained a Catholic. Yes, he broke with Rome, but apart from that, and he was taking the money from the monasteries and taking the money from the Catholic Church to put it in the Church of England. But apart from that, there was no changes in terms of religious beliefs. So she could have fit in really well at the Anglo-Indian court. But she really didn't want to get married to Henry VIII. Another thing is that with the Duke of Longueville, she had had a son. And a royal alliance was not something she really wanted anyway, even with James V of Scotland. But having turned down Henry VIII, she almost had no choice but to make an alliance and to marry James V of Scotland. It was a very powerful move for the Guises. It was a very powerful move for the French court. It was the old alliance. After she arrived in Scotland, James V and herself got married in June 1538 at St Andrew's Cathedral. Mary was crowned Queen of Scotland at Holyrood Abbey on the 22nd February 1540. And the marriage produced 3 children in quick succession: James, Duke of Rothesay, Robert, Duke of Albany, and Mary Stuart. Both sons died in April 1541, so before the birth of Mary, just 14 hours apart. And when James V himself died in December 1542, his only surviving heir was Mary, who became Queen of Scots at the age of 6 days old. And here I want you to imagine the tragic fate of Marie de Guise, who had to leave behind her first son to marry James V of Scotland, who had 2 other sons who died so young and 14 hours apart. And then the year later, she lost her husband, and she was still in a foreign country. These tragic deaths are also going to play a part in Marie de Guise's fate and who she's going to become. She was the mother of the Queen of Scots, but the government was given to James Hamilton, 2nd Earl of Arran, and he was regent during the early years of the minority and the rough wooing. It was a discussion of a potential marriage between Edward VI, Henry VIII's son, and Mary, Queen of Scots. With the Treaty of Addington in 1548, the child, Queen Mary, was betrothed to Francis, the Dauphin of France, and her care and protection was given to King Henry II. And here we have again another tragedy for Marie de Guise when you think about it. She's literally losing everyone who was close to her. She had to send to France Marie, Queen of Scots, her daughter, only child at this point. She was again separated from her loved ones. But Marie de Guise knew that it was important to play that role, to remain in Scotland, to defend her daughter's interest in Scotland, to defend a strong Scottish-French alliance, to defend the interest of France in Scotland. And she became regent of Scotland in 1554. Throughout her regency, Mary displayed tolerance for the time, towards the new reformed ideas, towards the new Reformation movement in Scotland. She knew that she could not fight too many battles and that she had to kind of find a way to ensure peace and stability in Scotland if she wanted to protect the realm for her daughter. Marie de Guise played a very important role in terms of being a diplomatic agent for France. Yes, she was Queen of Scotland, but it was really a diplomatic move for the Guises before the French. She really played her part to ensure a good relations between Scotland and France. She did a really great job at playing her role. Not only she gave birth to 3 children, though her 2 sons died tragically in 1541, as I said, but she still gave birth to son to James V. The tragedy of what happened to her family and to James V had nothing to do with her. It was not a reflection on her. And she showed extreme resilience when she basically lost everything and when she was forced to send back Mary Stuart to France. And she did that because she knew that Mary Stuart had to be raised as a French woman like she was, had to know that she was, yes, of course, a Stuart on her father's side, but truly, Mary Stuart was a Guise, like her mother. They exchanged letters together. Mary Stuart told her mother how much she loved being in France, how lovely were her uncles, how much she admired Diane de Poitiers, the mistress of Henry II of France. And Mary Stuart kept rising at court. She was the jewel of the French court. Everyone loved her, everyone adored her, and she received the exact education that Marie de Guise wanted for her daughter. Marie de Guise died in 1560 without seeing her daughter again. During these 6 years of regency, she really did everything she could to establish peace and stability despite all the turmoil in Scotland. And though some people might see her as someone who was only working for the French interest, they would not be completely wrong, if I'm honest with you, because her first priority was to work for French interest and more specifically for the Guise interest. But at the same time, I really believe that Marie de Guise did her best in Scotland with the situation she was given. But I want you to remember it's a woman who was forced to abandon and put away her first son, who lost her 2 other sons, and who had to give away her daughter. She died without any loved ones around her in Scotland. When I mean loved ones, I mean the people of her family. She had been playing her political role to the T. And for that, I think we need to remember her as such a powerful and resilient figure of the 16th century. I really hope that you enjoyed that Once Upon a Woman video on Marie de Guise, and if you have any questions, leave your comments down below and I will reply to you. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for your support. I am so grateful. Bye!